Alright, guys, so I just spoke for like half a minute and realized I didn't have the video on. Very good, but I've been thinking, all this self help garbage out there, uh, people just, all these guys that sell you all these books on, how to get rich and how to manifest and, use your mind and, all the bullshit stuff like, wear some color of clothes a certain day, look at your astrology, your numerology, all this crap. Every religion has its own unique things, do this, you'll get lucky. You know what really makes you lucky? What I spoke about in the last video. Belief coupled with unrelenting persistence equating to unrelenting work. But that's not, I covered that in the last video, and that's true belief. I mean, uh, I could say, this Trump mug is my lucky charm. I mean, anything that makes you feel happy, anything that makes you feel, satisfied, could be an ass. I don't know. It could be a fucking Zippo lighter. You look at it, you feel happy. Good things happen. It's just that simple. But before we get into, I mean, I was gonna talk about. For a guy that says myself and brags about it very openly. That I work so many hours a day, like 12 hours, 13 hours. I hardly ever sleep. It's all true. It's all true. Uh, but when I do sleep, I mean, morning times, this is another reason I've never got along at jobs and stuff, because the first couple of hours of the day, or maybe even 3 or 4 hours, it depends on, believe it or not, like I'm such a manic guy, right? I'm always intense, always doing this, doing and I'm never idle. But if you saw me externally the first couple of hours of the day, I'm just sitting. But I'm not idle. Most people will sit and they'll doom scroll Twitter and, social media and all that. I check social media and all that for my business, and for my trolls, because they have to post at least one comment every day about me, which is great. And it's fun, I mean, I kind of like profiting off of their misery, as they say themselves. So it's kind of fun, It's funny. I mean, they just take what I say. So after I make this videos, all these fat trolls I've been referring to in the other videos will take what I say and they'll simply copy and paste it in slightly different language on their social media and all that. And they'll say they're successes and they're being hated. No, dude, no. No. No, Benny Boy. Just the most recent example. No, Bozo Schofield. Nobody hates you. I don't. And nobody wants to kill you. I mean, you're the one that sent written death threats to me for making videos. You weren't even mentioned. It was about women. Facts, 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 facts. You know, uh, you speak about, you whine about he gets massages from his mates and all that, yet you lie about doing the same yourself and say, oh, I'd get it all day if it was free. You haven't, none of these trolls have succeeded at any fucking level. Other than, I mean, this most recent one isn't even a successful scammer. Like, he hangs out with all these scammers, all these scam artists that then try and scam me. You can't scam me, man. I mean, I've been around the block too many times. One too many times, I would say. For the most latest troll, Ben Gay, this is how I think, really, and this is another reason why I identify with Preston Trump. Like, my topic of the video is something else, but I'll talk about something else. This is how I think. This is how you should think. One random thought leads to the other, random action leads to the other. It's what I do in the mornings. And, this is what I like about Trump. When he speaks, people get pissed off that, he tells stories. But ultimately, that's what people like. On our website, the search bar is most used. And funnily enough, it's, all these pros that people love reading about them. It's just stats don't lie, my friend. And so, he calls it the weave, I call it the story, you call it what you like. It meanders, it goes, but it gets there. It's a long route, but it gets there. Anyway, yeah, the most recent troll, when you're a success, then you'll have haters. And then underneath that, he writes, financially modest success. Dude, you make $20 a month, if even that, as success. I mean, you don't pay your bills, your woman supports you. You call that success? Now, it may make you happy being a loser, which is fine, but you're not hated. You're comic relief, man. You're my court jester, you're entertainment. Nobody hates you. I don't even use the word hate. Nobody makes death threats against you. That was a mole, the one that you're referring to. I mean, you were the one that made multiple death threats against me. You were the one that still says, I wish, your business will die a slow death and all that. I mean, you're self-projecting and there's a fine line between self-belief and delusion. And results determine that fine line. Yeah, I mean, if you're happy being a loser, then be a loser. I'm not gonna. But it's stupid and hypocritical to say you're succeeding at. What are you succeeding at? I mean, these trolls in general. But yeah, the most recent one. How many businesses? 0. Do you know how to do business? No. Can you sell? No. And this is a very important point, the selling, because this deals with what I'm going to talk about here. No. Have you been out of Kansas? No. Have you ever fucking gotten past your stupid ADHD Skyastia? No. The only yes is, are you very stupid? Yes, you're an extremely stupid individual. More stupid than I believed is possible, because you jump off of cliffs and think you're not going to break your leg. Now, what idiot has to do that? Could you answer me that? You're not going to answer it, I know, but that's great, because you can't. You're stupid. So, you can't just copy quotes from successful. I mean, you have to have results in a certain sphere. Girls? No. Money? No. And all these other things I mentioned. No. Job? You've never held one. Kids? You're sterile. I mean, where are the results? Now, I'm not saying you can't be a loser. That's for you to choose, But to pretend and LARP is not self-belief. Self-belief and real manifestation is saying it, and it manifests at that exact specific time. And then, not always, but you don't understand, man. I mean, so it's not about, so you're posting, some of these trolls will take what I say, because I've posted examples, so many examples of manifesting shit out of just literally thin air, even though it isn't that, but it is that, and they'll be like, we can do the same. And you know what example they'll give? He's making videos. I make videos all the time. I was on social media way before any of these trolls were. I mean, and they say they manifest, or this some of these fat men, he claims he manifests because I predict he's going to talk. Dude, I talk about everything and everyone under the sun. What manifestation? I mean, let's be logical. Let's be professional. Imagine you're sitting down here and discussing this with me. Let's be professional. I mean, I smoke cigarettes daily, so you'll say, "Oh, I predict you'll smoke 2 packs tomorrow." So I do that anyway. It's public knowledge. Where's the prediction? Now, if you could predict how I bang my maid in the ass, or if I get a blowjob, or if I fuck her mouth, that might be a decent prediction. I mean, even that wouldn't, because if you really analyze it rationally from a psychopathic manner, then you can kind of tell. But, yeah. So that third point I raised, can you sell? No. I mean, this leads into the self-help thing of uplifting. Again, there's a very fine line between uplifting and being a wanker or a cheapskate or, look, all the cheapskates and all these guys that follow these self-help gurus that sell you do things, the feel-good way. The feel-good way doesn't lead anywhere. The feel-bad way leads, because the worse you feel, the better things that are waiting to happen for you. Even you trolls need to understand that. Like, if you feel so agitated by me even, mentioning you even in general, like this video is not gonna, no real, I mean, I'm just mentioning facts, then you should think about it that way. But thinking about it isn't enough. You gotta believe it, and you don't have results, and ultimately the universe recognizes work, so it's not gonna work. But there is a fine line. All these self-help gurus talk about you should uplift others, you should help others. Now, we're not talking charity here. I mean, charity is different, That's a different concept. But helping others and, well, first of all, isn't a business helping others if they give them products that they want to buy? I mean, like these. I could have got these for less than a quarter of the price, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's just an example. It's a brand name. It's, I'll tell you, what I didn't tell you during that eye test video is this. And this is a perfect, I'll give you 2 examples on selling. One of them is mentioned indirectly in 10 Commandments of Successful Sales, which is actually 20 commandments because I talk so much. So, that's available on the website, zeroexcusesfitness.com. But, as of, or with me, I've always noticed, I've spoken about, how even when I've had no money, it's always, oh, he's rich. So everybody's trying to get something out of me, and I speak about that. Walking down the road, all want to talk to me, all want something from me. So when I got these, I was very specific because they look at me and they're like, walking, talking money magnet is coming. Or an advertisement, that's just me. That's, I just attract all this attention. I mean, I've always been that way, even when I was fat or, it's the mentality thing, abundance mentality. But that also leads to annoyance on my part because sometimes, you just want to go look, you don't want to buy right then. And, I'm not saying I just go to businesses with no intention of ever buying. Every business I've ever gone to, if I haven't bought right then, I've always bought later. Because, I mean, I don't want to waste people's time, obviously. And plus, it wastes my time. Why would I go? I'm not some of these Chinese ladies that go to Hong Kong or used to go to Hong Kong and, they just look and it's just a social status kind of thing. And the girls in Hong Kong, I remember I was watching a huge argument between them. It was like they were telling the Chinese girls, why don't you buy? I mean, you keep coming here, but then either don't come here, So it created quite a controversy on Chinese social media. And then, valid points on both sides, but I don't do that. And so anyway, even not just these. I mean, but I'll give you this example. I mean, I do this with everything, maids, business, everything. I was very clear in writing and over the phone, and twice or thrice online. With the app and all that. Because I purchased their, they have a membership and then they have a gold membership. Of course, me, best for the best. So I had to get the gold. I don't know. I just had to. And that comes with a, eye test free, because if you pay for, I mean, that's, you're paying already. So they give you that for free. It was actually a very professional eye test. It was done better than in China, I mean, overall, I think. But we'll talk about that later. So I basically, uh, yeah, because I have people coming up to me and they'll just, they may offer me good service, a perfunctory service or something, but then they'll say, buy, 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 and that's what I hate. I don't like being pushed. I don't like being forced, uh, and it's different from an email list where you're selling things and all, because they're reading your emails daily. I mean, because and if they don't like or don't want to buy, there's nobody or nothing stopping them from unsubscribing, which is why I call people out on my email list if they're just there and sitting and doing nothing, because then they don't need to be there. I mean, because if you go to a store daily but you do nothing there other than just whack off, then you don't need to be there, right? I mean, it's simple. So they came, perfect service, everything. You saw the video, and I kind of cut off the video after 22 minutes because I was choosing these, and then that the main reason I took the video was because the eye test was done in a very different manner. Like China, if I recall correctly, that was in 2016. They didn't put in frames and do all that you saw. That was I think they had a machine or something. I don't know. And I think these guys really they helped me. They really suggested, and I ended up paying 5 times more than what I thought I would. But that's okay because you get what you pay for. Super quality, high quality. I'm very happy with, and that's just one example. Uh, of how to sell successfully. Now, those guys weren't selling, and that's a good thing, because they're on salary these days. Nobody's going to work on commission alone. When you're on commission alone, like a certain affiliate, you get desperate, and that desperation shows. And, if you're a naturally terrible seller by default, that is financially modestly success. How gay is that, man? Modest success. How fucking gay is that? Anyway, $20 a month. Anyway, then that desperation shows. It shows. I mean, he has people. This same past affiliate has people telling him daily on his Twitter, and he keeps amping it, which is funny to watch. Let's follow, let's follow. Like begging for follow. It's like a circle jerk. You jerk me off, I'll jerk you off. It's gay, meaningless, but. Yeah, attention seeking in every post. It shows. It reeks of it, essentially. And which is why he's a terrible seller, which is why, because he's desperate, and he offers these cheap, shady products like these shady supplements, these shady, these gay bands he ties. Oh, resistance bands he calls them, but but really he's got some weird fetish about being a cow. Not weird, a lot of people have it. Moo, they like to go. Literally, I mean, I say moo, and guys send me money because on the other business. I mean, he's one of those sort of guys because I transmute my thoughts. It turns them on. I don't even have to see them. They buy a product. So for me, why not? I just take their money. But yeah, so that was an example of, I wasn't really, I just wanted to get an eye test. And then I told them, 3 days later, I'm going to go online. I'm going to choose, what I want, and then I'm going to buy it. But those guys, they got it. They got it on the spot. They got the sale. They sold it, full credit and kudos, Then there was this customer at that job that I mentioned in the book that he didn't want, like he wanted a new website built, and at that point, it was 2 months into that job, and like I said, I took that company from zero to hero. Then they were disloyal motherfuckers, and anyway, that let's not get into that. But and what I was doing was I was with every new I wasn't selling anything, but I was giving them benefits. I just gave them the benefits when half drunk, and forgot about it, basically. And I said, here's what I can do, and here's the result you'll get. And they paid up. It was simple. It's like most of those sales were made half drunk, man. I didn't even show up to the office, and they hated that. But there was nothing they could do because of. I mean, you're not gonna fire the cash cow, right? I mean, that's simple. So but then there was this case where the guy, he just, even after I sent him the benefits and all, he didn't want to buy and all that. And, you know, uh, then I gave him a different set of benefits. And he bought, It was a similar story to, people, you can't push. I mean, beyond a certain level, you can tease money, like Napoleon Hill spoke about, and Think and Grow Rich. To really get money, you have to flirt with it. You have to attract it, like you attract women. Like I talked about attracting women. Money's like that maiden that you woo. Essentially. Uh, if you see me doing all these foot things, that's my foot isometrics that I mentioned in isometric and flexibility training. It may look basic and elementary, but if you really hit the tendon inside of the feet, it feels awesome. Not as good as a massage, but I mean, well, in a different way. But that's selling. Anyway, let's now stop the stories and the weave and get straight into the, uplifting versus, although it all connects, uplifting versus, being a cheapskate. So, these self-help guys and these, focus on others, don't focus on yourself. I mean, that's total garbage, man. Who are the people in this today's world, generally, that hold all the power and authority and that have more money? It's women. What do? They focus on themselves from birth. They're psychopaths, which is fine. I am too. But, uplift others, help them become the best version of themselves. Now, that's all well and good. I would argue that if I, fitness wise, or let's talk fitness because the other business isn't really for this channel. Uh, if I helped you become the best, sexiest version of yourself, then I'm helping you, right? I would argue that I'm uplifting you, right? But then you have hordes of people that will come along. Now, sometimes you give out free stuff. Sometimes even like I told you, the company gave me a free eye test, right? Which I put on social media and all that. But before that, I paid for their super membership. They call it, I think, gold or something. But you have to pay, So I did, in a sense, pay for that. Nothing's free in life, If you don't pay for their membership, then you pay for the eye test. It's that simple. But nothing's free in life, right? And it applies to all businesses. So I give out so much stuff for free, man. Like, you guys see all this stuff online on the websites, both of them, but you don't see the members only posts. I mean, the ship members really get to see when they log in, the members only posts because, I don't put everything out, But here's the thing, uplifting these wankers, and a lot of these trolls and cheapskates are in that category. The most recent idiot that claimed I put my daughter in chains, or one of them in chains, some garbage, that he beats everybody up, all kinds of garbage. I mean, it was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Yeah, he was like, oh, I wanted to buy your book. I wanted to do this. Well, dude, if you wanted to buy it, you'd have bought it. But he kept asking me questions. Now, asking questions is a good thing if it leads to something. But his questions led to nothing. All his questions could be, I ask a lot of questions, but then once that's answered, that leads to the next question. All his questions were primarily, I could tell, he wanted information. He was like, I wanted to learn from you, but he didn't tell me what he'd do for me in return. You know, uh, here's the thing uplifting, let's assume, and I'll give you an actual example. I'm not going to mention names. But it's well, she's on Google and all that. But I mean, I like, well, but I'm gonna troll you a bit because it has to do with a housemate, which y'all hate hearing about because it makes you furious that you can't have one. But or you're too cheap to get one. Actually, I should say, because you want it for free, Percy. A penny saved is a penny earned. Okay, whatever. Uh, anyway, but before we get into that, and that deals with women and cocks and who need each other more. Look, I'll say it one more time. Everything is transactional in life. Every little thing. There's nothing free. I gave you so many examples. Okay, uplifting someone comes at the cost of what? So you uplift someone. Um, I don't know. Somebody showed up here and I lost my train of thought. This is why I like my headphones on because then I can't hear anything. It's just, people are so gay. But um, yeah, so you give out all this free information and they want more. They want more. Like that guy, he just wanted, free information, free information. How do I do this? I told him, get on the site, do your, oh, I'll research it later, was his answer. Then he sends me 10 other questions. I'm like, research it. And he says, I don't have the time to research. So I'm like, if you don't got the time to research, how come you have the time to pester me with all these questions? I'm the one with no time, And then he's like, because he wants validation from talking to somebody way above him, right? That's what he wanted. So then, I finally ended the conversation, stopped replying to him, and, then he was forced to do his research, which pissed him off. And of course, then he started trolling me with meaningless garbage and, So what did I get for those 2 hours of, or not 2 hours, but whatever I spoke to him? What did I get out of it? Nothing. But he got something out of it. What is, this is what I'm saying. All these, like Ben Gay, he used to send me his pictures and he used to send me, oh, I'm not fat. And he'll send some other nasty fat guy right next to that. And, it is all fact. The emails are still there. And, he would attempt to, dude, you're explaining to me what fat is and fat isn't. Then you turn around and say, he's like Twiggy or Ariana Grande. Yeah, I'm more beautiful than Ariana Grande or Twiggy. And I'm more handsome and sexy than any other man on the planet. Sexy, charming, intelligent. I mean, walking, talking advertisement. Maybe the only guy, other than Donald Trump. Trump's a handsome dude. I mean, really handsome guy. He's got beautiful hair. I love his hair. Orange. It's beautiful, beautiful. I love, Trump is a beautiful individual. I love the guy. I really, I could care 2 hoots less if he's the president or not. I just like the guy, He just reminds me of me, Exact same mindset, mentality. Trump and Preston Putin is a handsome guy too. But, you see Putin sitting on a horse like that. He looks regal, man. You see Putin doing breaststroke and all judo. G, top G, top G is, and the Tate brothers use that term, I guess. But I know I'm not. I'm just saying those guys are G's. Those guys are gangsters. I like it. But so what did I get out of all that? Nothing, right? He got validation. He got all this. So that's a fine line. Now I'll give you another example, a real life example that I keep talking about on the other business. There was this, and I'm not going to mention any names. So there was this housemaid in India, that, from the age of, typical sob story, blah, blah, blah. I got beaten by my husband. I got, domestic abuse, this, that. It's very common. Uh, I speak about all that in all those other videos, how women will abuse other women very brutally, but men can't. And even in this case, apparently the stepmother abused her more. I don't want to give you all the gory details because it is gory. Like somebody once split her head open and all that, and it's gory. So, but the upshot of all that is, after years of being a slave, like my slaves, I make them work. But after years and years of that, I'm just giving you the upshot. She finds this man, and then she works for him. He doesn't really treat her as a slave. He's like, more. I don't know. I don't really know how they. But he's one of these cocks, middle class, fat cocks, that they all love. Women all love those cocks because, and they tell you these men need us. So they act like they care about these men, but they don't care. They just know they can get what they want out of him. Because if he needs you, then he's gonna do anything to keep you. With me, they know I don't fucking need him, so they run after me because I don't need him. I could, they could all disappear tomorrow. I could care two shits less, And one of my last mates, she told me, I can't imagine you were living like this. I can't. I'm like, and she says you have money. Why don't you, and then why don't you, if you don't want to hire somebody, why don't you at least do some cleaning yourself? I'm like, I don't care. I don't give two shits. No. So if you truly don't care, then, because at that point for a week I hadn't done anything and there was nobody. Long story, but if you truly don't care about a woman, if you don't need her, then she's going to run after you in some way. It's just law of attraction, universal law. But so this woman, she used to work for that guy, and then she used to, for some reason, like books, right? And I think after 4 or 5 years of working there, because she was full time or something, full time housekeeper, maid, whatever the hell it is, call it what you like, slave the slaves, but. She used to look at books and stuff, and nobody was looking, but he was looking, but he didn't, most of the employers would tell her not to do it, and it's not your, but he didn't. He was, he was kind of genteel, kind of nice, kind of like me. I'm so brash, but I'm also extremely intellectual. I'm the perfect mix. I can be extremely brash and rude, but I can also, I can hobnob with the, what's the term, man? Vince McMahon used it. It's a beautiful term. The hoi polloi. Yeah, I can hobnob with the hoi polloi and do hoi polloi better than them. But, I can do, I'm a true chameleon. But, and I can't stop talking about how sexy I look, how sexy I am. Because I just can't, man. I love being in the limelight. I love it. I don't crave it, but I love it. But, so then he saw her looking at the books and all that, and okay, this woman's interested in them. And he said, yeah, oh, what time is it? I didn't even notice. Fuck, these videos go on for anyway, fuck it. But he noticed that. So he encourages her to write, okay? So she starts writing after her job or whatever. He gave her some time, extra time to write and all that. One thing led to another. She became literally a literary superstar. She was featured on the page of, the New York Times or whatever. She literally was. I'm not shitting you. She was. Because you Western-minded people think that and the liberals and cocks were really the guys that really bought the book. People like me, we know, slavery, it exists. It can be modern day slavery, it can be that kind of slavery. You work for a company, you're a fucking slave. It's that simple. Because you got to do what, so. But she became a success. And so then I researched a little more. The media will never tell you this, okay? But then I researched and and then, she became financially independent. And this guy that needed her, she left him. Now the media only mentions the woman side of it, right? So I posed this question on a private forum, which I was a part of, which I'm not gonna, because it doesn't make any sense to mention. What did the guy get out of it? I mean, okay, this woman is there. She's been abused all her life, or whatever. She's tired of being a slave, whatever the hell it is, but she's not happy, right? If you really drill it down. Number two, she finds him, or, coincidence, whatever it is, no such thing as coincidence. Maybe, this is what I say. If you truly want it, you'll find a way to get it, regardless of. She had not a spare minute, and she wouldn't even be able to sit down because her female employers wouldn't let her sit. Because if you sit, then you think, for a guy, like I just spoke about, for a guy that prides himself on working extremely hard and all, the first 2 hours of the day, I'm just doing what Jeff Bezos calls puttering around. I just sit and do nothing. So people think, he does nothing. He sits there, but I'm thinking, my mind is working. I'm looking at this, looking at that. Then suddenly this idea for this video comes, and I do it. Then a sale comes, and I talk to a customer. Then I, in the flow, really, randomly, and things work. Anyway, so she had no time and all that, but she still managed to succeed. I mean, the human mind is incredibly adaptable if you actually set it to a task. Anyway, so okay, so she was in she didn't like her situation, and he basically was nice enough at no extra cost to him to provide her a way out. We see this with these fucking cocks all the time, like. The women in general, they'll whine about their husbands doing this, doing that. This is all over the world, man. You guys think it's just in the West, but it's all over the fucking world. Excepting now China. China stopped it because China's like, no way, no more. And Russia never had it. Russia is the best. Russia never had all this bullshit. Like, if a woman went to the cops and Putin abolished the domestic violence law in 2014, and you go to the cops will say, unless it's really serious, but if he's just smacking her a couple of times because she's out of line, cops will say that's exactly what a woman needs. Go ask another woman. They smack each other around all the time, So, anyway, and plus, husband, wife, she belongs to the husband. It's that simple. She's his property. You can use whichever term you like, but women say this about their husbands, that he's mine, I'll chop his balls off if he does this. They brag about it. He married, a fat Indian feminist that, Mary cheese, she basically what she meant was my thing. So she wasn't even saying he. It was like an inanimate object, a human ATM, but he's my thing. I was like, what the fuck, huh? But the guys love it, so, who am I to complain? But, they're fat and cock. But, so you see this all the time, guys will be the white knight, like Ben Gay, for instance, this most recent role. Oh, madam, I saw you had sciatica. I had it too. That's... and he keeps replying to her. He keeps telling her thank you even when there's no need. And she's laughing at him. She posts these little emojis, and all she posts is this. Like, Ben, what she really means is shut up. You're very boring. She's not going to tell you that, but that's what... Because your post reek of attention seeking. No woman wants that. She wants to chase hubby porn star. But you can be asked. I mean, nice guys finish last. You can be, so you have, guys that'll, oh, the husband is so abusive, even without even asking the fucking husband. And I'll support, whatever the hell it is. Let's say the husband didn't give her a fucking car, then, some guy will buy her a car, and, or, it could be husband doesn't pay. I mean, I don't know, supposedly doesn't pay for a child or whatever. Or some guy will show up with, what do these guys get for all this? Exactly fuck all, but these guys get validation, that Finally, I get a so-called beautiful woman, which for them that's beauty because they've got no other choice. Um, some time and attention. Because you give her money. You give a woman money, she'll talk to you for a certain period of time. If you give her what you want, but she's never gonna sleep with you. She's never gonna. It's not gonna be any attraction. She's just gonna be laughing at the guy all the time, like this example I just gave you. I mean, you can tell it's very easy. Uh, if here, let me. If a woman truly wants you, all these examples I keep giving you off, she'll pay for you. She'll chase you. She won't care if the guy is married. She'll literally tell you, "You can keep me too." It's that simple. If she truly wants you in whatever regard, I mean, that's anywhere in the world. Women are the same everywhere. It's just in Russia and China, it's perfectly open. Like, I spoke about, Sin City and all this in China back when I was there. Back, when I still, it was very open. Imagine the manufacturing hub of the world. I mean, you liberals, cocks, and feminists say he can't cheat. But that is the manufacturing hub of the world, or it used to be, not anymore. It made more money than generations of all you liberals and cops combined. I mean, all the factories were there, I think, and it was open. That's how you get results in life. You have to be honest and open. You can't just hide behind politically correct, feel-good statements. They lead nowhere. It's life. It happens. If a man's got options, it's natural for him to explore them. So, what do all these guys? So let's hark back to or let's go back, not hark back, go back to let's chirp back if you're, for that fat boy Ben Gay, because he likes to tweet. That's why he's on Twitter but he's not got the X shape I have. But anyway, so what did the employer get out of it? He helps the girl, she gets money, and the first thing you know, she leaves him. Now, he'll say, oh, I did some public service, I helped a poor, downtrodden lady, and, all this other middle-class feminist garbage. Because he's probably one of those guys that gets none. This is why there's two reasons these women love working for men. Now, I'm not just referring to housemaids or anything. I'm referring to even in the office. Because men focus on results. Women focus on indirect bickering. Oh, what color nail polish is she wearing? She may not say it, but, oh, she's looking more beautiful than me. These things, women will never say these things to each other. In fact, they'll be very polite to each other, and if there's a guy to hammer, they'll hammer the guy. Even if what they're saying is really directed at the other woman more than the guy or equally, but they're never going to tell the woman that. They're going to hammer the man. But deep down inside, they'll think about that woman and they'll scheme against her. That's just what it is. That's why women are witches by default. You can call them she-devils. That's nothing wrong with it. That's biology. I mean, they can't help it. Just like we men, doers, I can't help it. If I got all these girls, I'm going to bang some. I mean, call me a misogynist for it. I can't help it. Nothing wrong with it. So that's why they like working for men, because most men are so weak and cocked that they need them, and so they can get what they like out of them. The women are far more psychopathic, they have far more options, and they will literally account for every penny, they will account for every second that you work for them. Except I do it better, but I'm so sexy, they can't resist me. So I'm the perfect combo of male and female, right? And the other reason they like working for men as well, everyone wants hubby porn star. It's that simple, So they like working for that kind of guy. And I don't give two shits, I mean, if she does what I want, I'll fucking toss money at her. I don't care. I have it, So I don't really. And she has to do what I want, And she has to, and then they pick up on that. Like one of these women, like apparently around this gay middle class place I live in, they won't clean toilets, right? So the first thing she says, "Sir, I'm going to clean your toilet. I'm going to do it by hand." Literally, like Ashley, that Chinese girl, on her hands and knees. I never even asked her to do it. I said, I'm hiring somebody to do it. No, I want to go on a date. I want to watch a movie. No, I can't go to movies. I don't watch movies. Well, not with her at least, with Carol. But I didn't really watch the movie. I just grabbed her tits. But she. No, you don't need to hire housemaid, cleaning lady. Cleaning lady is what they call it there, and you follow me. I'm like, I'm not following you. What they mean is that, what she was saying was she'll come and clean. And I knew she would do a piss poor job. And she did a piss poor job. And she complained. Yeah, like I was sitting there and she, like I said, and, oh, I want you to help me with it. I'm like, shut up. That wasn't the deal. You don't want to do it, don't do it. No one's forcing you. You said you wanted to do it. But you don't want to do it, get up and leave. Fuck off, But she didn't. She kept doing it. So that's another reason they want. They all want hubby porn star. It's that simple. But you gotta be that guy first. So once you drill it all down, okay? Here's the bottom line. If you're uplifting someone, if you're in whatever way, could be man, woman, could be me on my businesses, could be in whatever way, but you're giving them nothing in return, then it essentially becomes a cock and that kind of relationship, You're getting validation, which, it may make you feel happy, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're that kind of guy, but who functions on being happy, I would rather not be happy, not be satisfied, and I would rather well, let's just okay. So let's just explain it in even simpler language. She got all this money, she got all this fame, success and fame, right? The complete yang to the yin that she had to endure. Good on her, definitely. Full kudos, However, what did the guy get? Does anybody talk about the guy? Does anybody talk about... No. Now, does he deserve that? Yes. Because there was no reason for him to... he should have bragged about the fact. Like, if this is why I keep saying, you need to brag. Because women, cocks, and liberals will just destroy you if you don't. It's that simple. You need to have the results. You need to constantly brag. Not just shout from the rooftops. Brag. If he had, latched on to that publicity that she got, then he would be talked about too, Maybe he thinks, he doesn't want to steal her. I don't know. I don't know the specifics. Why he didn't do it, but I'm just saying that's an example. Like, what did he get out of it? My thing is, and this is what I recommend for you guys, watching this, if you really want to succeed, by all means uplift people. By all means give them free stuff. But you have to get something uplifting for yourself in return. That's how the universe functions. Everything is transactional, right down to, I don't know. Everything is transactional, man. Right down to relationships with your husband or wife, or, because a lot of you are so gay, you probably have husbands, and, everything is transactional if you really deeply analyze it, which most of you don't take the time to do, but you should, because once you do so, things will start to make a lot more sense. These affiliates, I've spoken about how they're so desperate, most of them, because unless you're really big in the affiliate world, you're not going to make even eating money. It's just what it is. And fitness, by the way, is the worst vertical to get into. I chose it because it's so tough, because everybody and their mother thinks that everybody and their mother thinks that, oh, but I can do push-ups, so I don't need to learn from him. Then they'll do one push-up or 10 push-ups and brag about it. And that's great, you did it, but why is he selling a book on it? Fitness goes way beyond just doing push-ups, man. I mean, you have to read what is said. It's the person you're buying. But it's so oversaturated, that market, that it's kind of pointless. That's why you affiliates, a lot of you don't make any money. Because number one, you don't need to know how to sell. And plus, the fitness business is oversaturated. There's too many jokers in it, essentially. It's oversaturated, the market. But like this fat affiliate I keep talking about, past affiliate who I roundly fired, I'm so glad I did, but his application went into spam, and so he then, asked me for free products. Now, what would I have gotten for those free products? I could tell the guy didn't know how to sell, but I said, let's give him a chance. And I even put his picture up on the grip pages and all that to help him sell. And he kept sending me these pictures of himself. So I'm like, dude, you're gay, I know that. It's fine. If you're gay and you want to work for me, that's fine, no problem. But don't keep sending me pictures of you, because I'm not gay myself. I mean, but then I thought, since he's doing it anyway, let's help him, and I put his pictures on there, but he's still too gay to sell. He doesn't want to sell. I mean, he just, writes, copies, pastes. He has no originality, fat and out of shape. People look at him. People see, oh, that's a desperate cock. So they use him for, if a girl needs emotional support, she'll go to him. But if she needs a man, she'll come to me. It's that kind of thing. He's the gay soulmate, essentially. That kind of, that's the dynamic. And so he could never sell. And you got to be a predator to sell successfully. You got to be a grade A psycho predator. You got to be able to, and plus, these guys that sell me all these things, they're not predators, but they don't have the desperation in them because they're all on salary. And so then, then they're just doing a job that they're getting paid for, and I'm a very interesting guy, so they enjoy doing it. So, they're getting that out of it, and plus they're getting paid anyway. And, I get no pressure to buy, no pressure, and then I want to buy. Again, transactional. Everything is transactional, right? So, once that transaction becomes lopsided, the fine line between uplifting and taking advantage of, or whatever the fuck the term is, it doesn't work. I mean, the other party benefits, but on the other business, and I'll talk about this, I do a lot of findom, but you might think that, that's just taking people's money, that's being terrible to people, this and that. Oddly enough, they crave it. They want me to do it. The less brutal that I am, this is why I keep saying, even women, man, any woman that's truly into you sexually, she'll tell you in bed, take me like a bitch in bed. She'll tell you. I mean, this is any woman in the world. And those guys are the same. They're cocks. They're like fat men. They like cocks and feet and submission and feet. Sorry. Fuck, man. Oh my God. Because this Indian girl I talked to, she keeps talking about her, cocks liking her feet. And I'm like, honey, you gotta say feet, not feet. It's cute. Indian English, and they think they can speak such good English, but it's hilarious, actually. No, but I don't say anything. I just laugh at them. But anyway, but so even in that they're gaining, and I'm getting something. So it's transactional. The last point we have to talk about is it an honest transaction or a dishonest transaction? This is why with me, with all my deals, even if it's a business thing, especially if it's a business thing, everything has to be in writing, Certain cultures have this thing of you make an agreement, then at the last minute they'll show up and they'll try and renegotiate that. Even that needs to be done honestly. If you're going to say that, then you need to, you need to say let's renegotiate. You need to say it, not just can we do that. But certain cultures, Eastern cultures, don't get it. Um, Everything, my friend, is transactional. You know, let me put it even more brutally. Who should I use as an example? Murray, who recently emailed me. No, let's just use Ben Gay. He's the easiest because he's the fattest of Mirror, mirror, who's the fattest of them all? Ben Gay. But anyway, let's just, use Ben Gay. So Ben Gay likes sucking cock, right, in glory holes, and that blast you're getting from he can only see glory hole is basically that's all you can see, and something pops in, and they love that, and I laugh at it because I make a lot of money off of selling that fantasy to people, but. I find it very funny, and I enjoy doing it. I really enjoy doing it. Um, before, let's talk about another point. I could submit just as easily if I wanted to. I could fucking dominate. I can be anything. This is why people say he changes emotions on a dime. I am just like a woman in that regard, and this is why with me, you're never predator, because I can snake, cobra. I'm fucking proud of it, I'm a snake. People are like, no one likes, but I'm a snake. I'm a tiger, and I'm fucking proud of it, and I brag about it because I'll strike when you least expect it, like a woman, But I'll do it in a manly manner, like a man, So you have to, women think they can be girl bosses and they think, oh, we're like men now. No, you're not. You have a nasty, horrible wife. This is all because you're not happy being that. Anyway, so it's transactional, man. I mean, so those guys gain something, and yeah, Fat Ben. So the hot blast that you so enjoy, that you so lick up, it's transactional. You're getting off on it. You feel happy, so you're getting something, and he's getting, I don't know, he's getting something out of it. If nothing else, sexual release or pleasure or whatever it is. Because those guys have, man, if I spoke about this on this business, all the weird fetishes out there, you would be, well, not really. People like Ben Gay would identify, but you would be flabbergasted at what people ask me to or beg me to do for them. And this is why I gotta be so careful because I'm so sexy. They all want to talk to me. Girls, guys, they all want to talk to me. They all want a piece of me. But what do I get for it? Meaningless conversations that, they get something from it. Because then they show it on social media. They brag about it that, they take pictures. And this is why I never take pictures unless I, want to. Because they use it, right? What do I get from it? Exactly fuck all. So I've given you all these examples. So you guys that think, pivoting back to fitness, which was originally where all this started, that I should just do it for free, that I should give out more information for free. You're fucking gay and you're losers because you gotta tell me, what'll I get from it? Let's be honest. If I gave you, all my tricks, in that new pre-order that I have going on, the real secret to abs that pop, the real secret, that nobody will talk about, why would you even buy that book? I mean, why would you even place that pre-order? Why do you think I got all these pictures of myself on the site and all that? Because we all want it. But, if you're too cheap to, I don't want to be, the fat employer who pays women money all the time and gets nothing for it. Not even a BJ, fucking, that's, and that's not how you run a business. It's that simple. And goddamn, man, what's this? Yeah, okay. That was, somebody wants me to buy premium something, because I'll be porn star, best for the best. So, I've given you all these tales, stories, all true, transactional. Let's just finish this little chat here. Um, I was gonna sleep in a little today because I only slept like 1 hour last night, and but then I woke up, and then that's good because I got this out of the way. I got like four more of these, just so y'all know, on the ship. You know, so I gotta do those two, and I'll do them. But to encapsulate, there is a fine line you gotta tread between wanting free stuff and wanting to be a freeloader. And while doing that, you gotta remember everything in life is transactional. And with that, I'll let y'all be. See y'all later.